He had spent more than 40 years building homes for other people, but never one for himself. His name was Samuel Cole, though everyone in the small town simply called him Sam the Carpenter. His hands were scarred from decades of labor, deep lines carved by wood, splinters, and time. His back was bent, his hair now the color of sawdust. Every morning he would walk to the construction site, lunch pail in hand, whistling softly the same tune he had learned from his father. But lately, the tune had stopped. He was tired. Not just the kind of tired that makes your body ache, but the kind that sinks into your soul, the kind that whispers, "You've given enough." So when his boss, Mr. Hawkins, called him into the office one Friday afternoon, Sam already knew what he wanted to say. "Sam," Hawkins began, "you've been with me since the beginning. You've built more houses than any man I know, but I think it's time you take some rest. You've earned it." Sam nodded. "You mean it's time to quit?" Hawkins smiled kindly. "I mean it's time to live." Sam forced a chuckle. "I wouldn't even know how to do that." They both laughed, but inside, the old carpenter felt something heavy settle in his chest. The thought of not working scared him more than the thought of dying. Before he left the office, Hawkins added, "There's one last project I'd like you to do, Sam. One final house, just one. After that, you can hang up your hammer for good." Sam sighed. "One more?" Hawkins nodded. "Just one, for old time's sake." Reluctantly, the old man agreed. The next week, construction began, but something in Sam had changed. He no longer measured twice before cutting once. He stopped sanding the wood until it was smooth. When the nails bent, he didn't pull them out, he just hammered them sideways. "Why bother?" he muttered. "It's not like anyone will notice." He used cheaper materials, skipped the details that once made his work beautiful. He worked faster, but without pride. For the first time in his life, he just wanted to finish, not to build. Each strike of the hammer sounded hollow, like the echo of a man building his own ending. A few weeks later, the house stood complete, at least from the outside. To the neighbors, it looked fine. To Sam, it looked like something he wanted to forget. When Hawkins came to inspect it, the old carpenter barely looked him in the eyes. "Well," Hawkins said, walking through the front door, "you did it, Sam. One last masterpiece." Sam wanted to laugh but couldn't. He knew every shortcut, every corner he'd cut. He knew the paint was uneven, the joints weak, the beams hollow. But Hawkins didn't seem to notice. As the two men stood in the front yard, Hawkins turned to him and said something that froze the air around them. "Sam, this house, it's for you." The carpenter blinked. "For me?" Hawkins smiled. "You've built homes for everyone in this town. You deserve one of your own. It's my gift to you." Sam's mouth went dry. His hands trembled as he looked back at the house. His house. The one he had built carelessly, the one he had rushed through thinking it didn't matter. And suddenly he couldn't breathe. That night, Sam sat alone in the empty living room. The walls creaked, the floorboards whispered under his feet. He could feel every mistake he'd made staring back at him. For the first time, the man who had built hundreds of homes realized he had never built his own with love. He ran his fingers along the window frame, rough, uneven, and whispered, "You fool." The house didn't answer, but the silence did. It told him everything he didn't want to hear. Outside, the moonlight spilled across the porch, touching the old man's hands like a quiet apology. He thought about all the years he'd given to others, all the roofs he'd raised, all the lives he'd helped shelter. And now, in his final home, he sat surrounded, not by pride, but by regret. He whispered into the still air. If I had known it was for me, I would have done it right. The wind carried his words away, gently, as if promising him a second chance he wasn't sure he deserved. For days, Sam couldn't sleep. He'd sit on the porch of his new home, the one built with his own hands. Hands that had once built perfection, now trembling with regret. Every creak of the floor reminded him of a shortcut. Every crooked line, every uneven wall whispered the same truth. This is what happens when you stop caring. He wanted to fix it, but he didn't know where to start. And maybe that was the point. One morning, the sun rose brighter than usual. Sam stood up, grabbed his old tool belt, and walked into the house. The leather felt heavy like the weight of his years. He looked around and muttered, "Let's do this right, this time." He began with the floors, removing every weak plank he had nailed in too quickly. The work was slow, painful. His hands bled, his back screamed, but he kept going. Neighbors passed by, confused. "Sam, what are you doing? That house is brand new." He only smiled and said, "Not yet." For months, he worked in silence. He replaced beams, smoothed the walls, sanded until the wood shone under the light. Each nail he drove in was a confession. Each board a redemption. The man who once built for others was finally building for himself. One afternoon, a young boy from the village stopped by. He watched Sam work for a while before asking, "Mr. Sam, why fix something that already looks fine?" The old man smiled, wiping the sweat from his brow. "Because, kid, it doesn't matter if something looks fine. What matters is knowing it is fine." The boy frowned, not quite understanding, but he nodded. Sam laughed softly. "You'll get it one day." And he went back to work. The seasons changed. Leaves turned gold, then fell. Winter came quietly, wrapping the town in frost. By then, Sam had rebuilt every inch of the house. It wasn't the biggest or the fanciest home in the town, but it was honest. Every corner carried a story. Every nail had a reason. When he was done, he stood in the center of the living room, looking around at the place he'd once rushed through. Now it felt alive. He whispered, This is home." That night he invited Mr. Hawkins to dinner. The old boss walked in, eyes wide, seeing what Sam had done. "My God, Sam, you rebuilt the whole thing?" Sam nodded, smiling faintly. "I built it right this time." Hawkins walked through the house, slowly, touching the polished wood, admiring the craftsmanship. "This is some of your best work." The old carpenter looked down, his voice breaking slightly. "No, this is the first work I've done for me." After dinner, they sat on the porch, watching the stars come out. Hawkins poured 2 glasses of whiskey. "You've always built houses, Sam, but this one, it feels different." Sam nodded. "It's the only one built with my heart still in it." Hawkins smiled. "You could have done this all along, you know." Sam looked out into the dark fields. "Maybe, but some lessons you can only learn too late." Weeks later, Hawkins passed away quietly in his sleep. The news hit Sam hard. He had lost more than a boss. He had lost the man who had believed in him even when he didn't believe in himself. At the funeral, Sam stood by the casket, hand trembling over the wood he had helped build decades ago. He whispered, "Thank you for giving me one last chance to do something right." No one heard him, but the wind seemed to carry his words through the trees. Years passed. Sam grew older, slower, but the house stood strong, a testament not just to skill, but to redemption. Children would often stop by to watch him fix things in his workshop. He'd show them how to hold a hammer, how to measure twice before cutting once. But more than that, he taught them what his father had once taught him, and what he himself had almost forgotten. When you build something, no matter what it is, a house, a family, a life, you build it with care. Because one day you might have to live inside what you built. One cold morning, Sam didn't come out to his porch. The neighbors knocked, but no one answered. They found him sitting in his chair by the window, a small smile on his face, a chisel still resting in his hand. Beside him lay a note, written in his shaky handwriting. To anyone who finds this, don't wait until the end to give your best. I built too many houses for others, but only one for myself. And it was enough. They buried him beside the old oak tree behind the house, and every time the wind blew through the leaves, it sounded like the soft rhythm of a hammer, the heartbeat of a man who had finally finished his work. Moral of the story: we spend our lives building careers, dreams, relationships, but in the rush to finish, we often forget to care. Whatever you build it with love, because one day you'll have to live inside what your own hands created.